Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is create a new view, and we can do that by hovering over views and then clicking new view. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is give your view a name, and then you need to choose a data source. So the data source tells your view where to pull information from for displaying on the front end. So click on the drop-down menu, and here you'll see a list of all of your forms in Gravity Forms. Now select the business listing form. Okay, so that tells GravityView that we want to display information collected via the business listing form. Okay, so the next step is to choose a view type or a layout option. So GravityView includes a variety of different layout options, and the layout that you choose will depend on the type of application that you're building. So for example, the table layout allows you to display data in rows and columns, and it's perfect for like dense numerical data. The list layout allows you to display entries in a directory style layout. The maps layout is perfect for geolocation directories, as it allows you to display entries as markers on a Google map. So each of these layouts has advantages and disadvantages depending on the type of app that you're building, but they're all really powerful. And to get an overview of all the different layout types, check out the link below in the additional resources. Okay, so seeing as we're building a business directory, we're going to go ahead and select the list layout. Okay, so after selecting the list layout, you can see the view editor here. And if we look at these three tabs at the top, you can see the view editor is composed of essentially three different layouts. So you've got the multiple entries layout, the single entry layout, and the edit entry layout. Now the multiple entries layout is the main page where each of your entries will be displayed one after the other. So think of it as the kind of main directory page. The single entry layout will display more information about an individual entry, and the edit entry layout is where users can go to edit entry details from the front end. In this section, we're going to focus on building the multiple entries layout. Okay, so as you can see, there's a top widgets area. At the top, we've got the entries field section here, and a bottom widgets area at the bottom. So to learn more about fields and widgets in GravityView, check out the link below in the additional resources. But basically all you need to know is that widgets are tools for navigating your view, things like search bars or pagination links, whereas fields are the actual information that you're displaying in your view. Alright, so let's start by adding fields to the entries field section. So as you can see, we chose the list layout, so there's a bunch of different sections here where we can add fields. So we've got the listing title, the subheading, the image here on the left, the other field section, and then the footer section, which is split into footer left and footer right. Okay, so to start off, let's add a field to the listing title. And we can do that just by clicking on this plus add field button. And let's select the business name. Okay. As you can see, now the business name will display in the listing title block. Now, if you want to adjust the field settings, all you need to do is click on this gear icon. And here you can change, you can show the label if you want to, and you can also update the label text. You can also change the visibility settings, and you can add custom CSS classes for custom styles. Okay, so next let's add a field to the subheading, and we'll add the business summary. Okay, perfect. So next let's add the image. That will be our featured image field. There it is. All right, and now on the right, we're going to add the business description. Okay, so all that's left to do is add the footer fields. So here on the left, we're going to want to add the address field. If you don't want the full address to show, you can just add part of it. So if we open that, as you can see, you can either add the full address field here, or you can add individual parts of the address. So let's add the address line 2. And we'll also add the city. Alright, so the final thing left to do is add a link to the single entry page. This will allow users to click through and view more information about a specific entry. So to do that, we'll head over here to the footer right section, click the plus add field button, and now all we need to do is search for link to single entry. There it pops up, and we'll add that to our view. Okay, so now that will add a dedicated link in the right footer to the single entry page. Now you can also turn an existing field into a link that takes the user to the single entry. To do that, all you need to do is click on the gear icon and then check this box that says link to single entry. But in this case, we're happy with a dedicated link, so we'll leave it like this. Okay, so the next thing left to do is to add a search bar to the top of our directory. So let's scroll up to the top widgets section. And as you can see, after creating our view, GravityView has automatically added a search bar widget here at the top. So all we need to do is click on the gear icon here to open the search settings. And here we can configure the different search inputs. So as you can see, we've got a search field here that's allowing the user to search everything. So essentially they can search via keyword. If we want to add another search input, all we need to do is click on this plus icon here. So let's add another input, and we'll add one for the city. There we go. And now let's add a third field input. And this time, let's add one for the business name. Great, and if we want to reorder those search inputs, all we need to do is drag and drop them. Okay, so there's a couple of other settings you might want to play around with here. For example, you can change the search layout from a horizontal one to a vertical one. And then coming down to the bottom, you can also change the search mode. So for example, if the user's searching on all 3 fields and you want the search result to match all of those inputs, you would change that to match all fields instead of match any field. But that's up to you. For now, we're going to leave it like this. Okay, so things are looking good. We've got all our fields added. We've added our search bar. You might also want to add a couple of other widgets here. For example, GravityView automatically adds page links and the pagination info. In fact, we might want to just get rid of that one. Keep the page links. Okay, so that looks good. In the next section, we're going to be reviewing the single entry layout. But for now, let's open our multiple entries layout on the front end just to preview what we've done so far. Okay, so you might have added a few entries to your form and then try to open your view on the front end and been presented with this warning message. Saying there are some number of unapproved entries that are not being shown. So the reason you're seeing this is because GravityView by default requires you to approve entries before they can be displayed on the front end. This is kind of like a safeguard just in case you end up displaying some sort of sensitive information that you didn't want to display to the public. So there are two ways around this. Either you can go ahead and manually approve the entries, or you can just turn off this setting here in the screenshot that says show only approved entries. So I'll show you both ways. The first way, all you need to do is just head over to the entries page in Gravity Forms. Here are all of your form entries. And to approve the entries, simply hover over this circle here and just click the check mark to approve them. And once they've been approved, they will display in your directory. Okay, alternatively, you can go back to your view editor, scroll down to the settings box here, and just uncheck this option that says show only approved entries. So we uncheck that, scroll back up, update the view. And now all we need to do is head over to our view page again and refresh the page. There you go. Now, as you can see, our entries are displaying in the directory as expected. Okay, so after adding a few entries to our directory, here is what things are looking like so far. Alright, so we're well on track to completing our business directory. In the next section, we're going to look at how to configure the single entry layout. I'll see you there.